Hello! Today we are discussing why New Zealand is the worst place on Earth. Not the most dangerous, not the most corrupt, not the most polluted, the worst. Because some places disappoint you through failure, New Zealand disappoints you through excess. It is too scenic, that is the first problem. Now, many people hear that and say, how can something be too scenic? Very easily. At a certain point, natural beauty becomes aggressive. A mountain should not look like it was focus grouped. A lake should not look professionally color corrected. A hillside should not appear to have been vacuumed. And yet New Zealand continues mile after mile like a country designed by a man who says things like, what if every view was the final scene of a fantasy movie? It is exhausting. Nothing earns its beauty there. Everything just appears absurdly green, offensively crisp, smug in its geological symmetry. Correct. The silence is quite revealing. There is also the sheep issue. Too many, far too many. At some point, a nation stops being a nation and becomes a pastoral hostage situation. You drive for 20 minutes and there they are, still there, watching, chewing, multiplying spiritually. There is something deeply unsettling about a landscape so clean and open that even the livestock seem to have tenure. And then there's the air. Too fresh, suspiciously fresh. Air should contain at least some evidence of civilization, a trace of machinery, a whisper of bad decisions, a hint that human beings have been there and regretted it. But New Zealand air feels filtered through glacier water and moral superiority. You breathe once and immediately feel judged by your own lungs. Good. The silence suits the topic. And let us discuss the scale of the place. Everything looks ancient, majestic, cinematic, and spiritually overqualified. You cannot simply go for a walk. No, you must apparently journey through a valley of myth. You must cross a ridge. You must stare into a volcanic basin that looks like it contains the private thoughts of a god. It is too much. A normal country has areas. New Zealand has revelations. This is impractical. Sometimes a person just wants a medium quality view and a sandwich. New Zealand refuses. It keeps handing you visual transcendence like an overbearing host. Look at this fjord. Look at this peak. Look at this impossible coastline. Enough. Exactly. Terrain does not equal substance. And then there is the cinematic curse. Some countries have history. New Zealand has branding. You cannot look at a hill there without feeling that somewhere a tour guide is about to whisper something unbearable about hobbits. The whole country feels one reference away from becoming a themed waiting room. It has the energy of a place that got cast correctly once and has never emotionally recovered. Beautiful, yes. But in the deeply irritating way of someone who was complimented in 2003 and built an identity around it. And finally, this is perhaps the greatest crime of all. New Zealand makes other countries look lazy. You return home from New Zealand and suddenly your local park looks like an apology. Your rivers seem tired, your hills seem contractual. Your weather seems personally vindictive. New Zealand does not merely exist, it ruins comparison, which is selfish. So yes, New Zealand is the worst place on Earth because it is too dramatic, too polished, too green, too fresh, too photogenic, too sheep adjacent, and far too committed to being an actual fantasy backdrop. It is not a country, it is a visual overreaction, and I resent it. Also, if your national landscape looks like it should come with orchestral music, you need to calm down. That was the joke. Of course, good night.